Welcome to Biography with Plutarch, where we delve into the lives of remarkable individuals, uncovering the intricacies of their character and the experiences that shaped them. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the life of the inimitable Cary Grant, a man whose debonair charm and effortless elegance captivated audiences around the world. Born Archibald Alexander Leach, Cary Grant would evolve into a Hollywood icon renowned for his versatility, wit, and unmistakable style. As we step into the world of Cary Grant, we find ourselves transported to the early 20th century, an era of great social change and cultural upheaval. The streets of Bristol, England, where Archibald Leach was born on January 18, 1904, were filled with the sounds of horse-drawn carriages, the smell of coal smoke, and the hum of factory machinery. In the working-class neighborhood of Horfield, life was a daily struggle for survival, where families like the Leaches had to rely on their wits and resourcefulness to make ends meet. To understand the making of this cinematic legend, we must begin at the beginning, in the humble surroundings of his childhood. The Leach household, located at 15 Hughenden Road, was a modest, two-story terraced house with a small garden, where Elsie Maria Kingdon, Cary's mother, would often spend hours tending to her flowers and sewing clothes for her family. Elias James Leach, Cary's father, worked as a pressman at a local factory, but his struggles with poverty and instability often left the family without a steady income. This precarious financial situation would significantly influence young Archie's early life, teaching him the value of resilience and adaptability. The Leach household was marked by tension and hardship, with Elias's periodic unemployment forcing the family to rely on the charity of relatives and the local church. The air was thick with anxiety as Elsie struggled to make ends meet, while Elias's temper and infidelities caused strain on the family. This tumultuous home life would later influence Cary Grant's own approach to relationships and his tendency to keep people at arm's length. Despite these challenges, Elsie provided a nurturing environment for her son, encouraging his creativity and fostering a sense of imagination that would serve him well in his future career. As a child, Archie found solace in the world of entertainment, particularly in the realm of music hall and theater. His mother would often take him to local performances at the Bristol Hippodrome, where he was mesmerized by the magic of the stage. The ornate theater, with its red velvet curtains and gilded balconies, became a haven for young Archie, a place where he could escape the difficulties of his home life and lose himself in the world of make-believe. These early experiences sparked a passion for acting and comedy, which would eventually become the cornerstone of his profession. The historical context of Cary Grant's early years was marked by significant social change and cultural upheaval. The dawn of the 20th century brought with it the rise of urbanization, industrialization, and the decline of traditional Victorian values. As the world around him was transforming, Archie Leach was forming his own identity, one that would be shaped by the contradictions of his working-class upbringing and his aspirations for a life in the spotlight. The streets of Bristol were filled with the sounds of change, the rumble of trams, the chatter of pedestrians, and the wail of factory whistles. The experiences of his childhood, though marked by difficulty, laid the foundation for his future success, instilling in him a strong work ethic, a keen sense of observation, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. We see glimpses of this resilience in stories of young Archie's early adventures, how he would often sneak into the local cinema to watch silent films, or how he would perform acrobatic tricks on the streets of Bristol to earn pennies from passers-by. As the young Archibald Leach navigated the tumultuous waters of adolescence, he began to cultivate a passion for acrobatics and comedy, skills that would eventually become integral to his acting career. The year was 1918, and at the tender age of 14, he joined the Bob Pender stage troupe, a comedy troupe that performed in music halls and theaters across England. This marked the beginning of his professional journey in entertainment, where he honed his craft as a performer, learning to adapt to different audiences and perfecting his timing and physical comedy skills. The smell of grease paint and the sound of laughter filled the air as Leach took to the stage, his slender frame and agile body moving with ease as he executed precision acrobatic feats. The thrill of performing live, with its attendant rush of adrenaline and sense of community, captivated him, and he quickly became an integral part of the troupe. As he traveled from town to town, Leach absorbed the vibrant cultural landscape of England, soaking up the nuances of regional accents, mannerisms, and humor. In 1920, Leach sailed to the United States with the Pender Troupe, performing in various vaudeville shows and theaters. The sheer scale and diversity of America's entertainment scene left him awestruck. During this period, he was exposed to a kaleidoscope of influences, from the jazz-age rhythms of Duke Ellington to the witty repartee of the Algonquin Round Table. As he navigated unfamiliar environments and forged new relationships, Leach developed a sense of independence and self-reliance that would serve him well throughout his life. He learned to rely on his wit, charm, and physical agility to navigate the ups and downs of show business, skills that would eventually become hallmarks of his cinematic persona. The experience of being a stranger in a strange land also instilled in him a deep appreciation for the nuances of human behavior, which he would later draw upon to craft his iconic characters. Upon returning to England in 1921, Leach began to pursue a career in acting, adopting the stage name Cary Grant. He joined the Brighton Follies, a troupe that performed in seaside resorts, where he refined his skills as a comedian and actor. The salty air, the sound of seagulls, and the smell of fish and chips filled his senses as he honed his craft, learning to adapt to the unique demands of each new audience. In 1923, Grant made his London debut in the musical comedy Hammerstein's Rio Rita, which ran for several months at the Lyric Theatre. The thrill of performing on the West End stage, with its attendant prestige and pressure, brought out the best in him. He reveled in the experience, soaking up the applause and adoration of the audience like a thirsty plant drinks in water. Grant's breakthrough in the entertainment industry came in 1931, when he was discovered by Paramount Pictures while performing on stage in New York City. The studio scouts were blown away by his unique blend of wit, charm, and physical comedy, and they quickly signed him to a film contract. As he began his journey as a Hollywood actor, Grant found himself initially typecast in minor roles, often playing the part of the suave, sophisticated leading man. However, it wasn't long before his talents caught the attention of directors and audiences alike. One of Grant's earliest notable films was She Done Him Wrong, 1933, a romantic comedy where he starred alongside the incomparable Mae West. Although his role was relatively small, his performance showcased his ability to play suave, sophisticated characters with ease, and his chemistry with West sparked a memorable on-screen partnership. This marked the beginning of a successful collaboration with Paramount Pictures, which would produce some of his most iconic films. Grant's subsequent roles in The Awful Truth, 1935, Topper, 1937, and Holiday, 1938, cemented his status as a leading man, and he went on to star in a string of successful comedies throughout the 1930s. Grant's collaboration with director Alfred Hitchcock began in 1941 with the film Suspicion, where he played the role of Johnny Aysgarth, a charming but potentially murderous husband. The experience of working with the master director was a defining moment in Grant's career, as Hitchcock pushed him to explore the darker corners of his persona. This marked the beginning of a fruitful partnership between Grant and Hitchcock, which would produce some of the most iconic films of their careers. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Grant continued to star in a wide range of films, from the espionage thriller Notorious, 1946, to the romantic comedy To Catch a Thief, 1955. His on-screen partnerships with actresses like Ingrid Bergman, Katharine Hepburn, and Audrey Hepburn became the stuff of legend, as he brought his unique blend of charm, wit, and vulnerability to each role. As Grant navigated the complexities of Hollywood's golden age, he also faced personal challenges that would test his mettle. His marriages, his relationships, and his struggles with identity and purpose all played out against the backdrop of his cinematic successes. And yet, through it all, he remained an icon of elegance, sophistication, and wit, a true legend of the silver screen. As Cary Grant's career continued to soar, he began to take on more nuanced roles that showcased his depth as an actor, immersing himself in characters that were both complex and captivating. The 1950s and 1960s proved to be a transformative period for Grant, with films like North by Northwest, 1959, and Charade, 1963, cementing his status as a master of suspense and comedy. His partnership with Audrey Hepburn in Charade remains one of the most iconic on-screen pairings in Hollywood history, with Grant's character, Peter Joshua, embodying the perfect blend of sophistication and vulnerability. The chemistry between Grant and Hepburn was undeniable, their banter and wit sparkling like diamonds against the backdrop of Parisian chic. As he delved deeper into his craft, Grant began to explore the intricacies of human emotion, bringing a level of depth and nuance to his performances that was unparalleled at the time. His ability to convey vulnerability, sensitivity, and strength all at once made him a compelling figure on screen, and audiences couldn't help but be drawn to his charismatic presence. In North by Northwest, Grant's character, Roger Thornhill, finds himself embroiled in a complex web of espionage and deception, and yet, despite the danger and uncertainty that surrounds him, he remains steadfast and composed, exuding a sense of calm authority that is both reassuring and captivating. Grant's personal life was also undergoing significant changes during this period. In 1965, he married Diane Cannon, an actress 33 years his junior, and the couple had a daughter, Jennifer, in 1966. Although the marriage ended in divorce in 1968, Grant remained devoted to his daughter, playing an active role in her life and being a constant source of love and support. As he once said, "I've always wanted to be a father, and I've always wanted to be a good father." This sentiment reflects the kind of introspective and emotionally intelligent person Grant was becoming in his later years. A man who was not only aware of his own vulnerabilities, but also willing to confront them head-on. The 1970s marked a significant turning point in Grant's career as he began to slow down his acting pace and focus on his personal life and business ventures. He was appointed as a director of Fabergé, the cosmetics company, and became a successful entrepreneur in his own right, leveraging his charisma and charm to build a lucrative brand. Despite his reduced presence on screen, Grant's legacy continued to grow, with many of his classic films being re-released and introduced to new audiences. Young people who had never seen his movies before were suddenly discovering the joys of Gunga Din, 1939, His Girl Friday, 1940, and Notorious, 1946. And Grant's star continued to shine bright even as he stepped back from the spotlight. In 1970, Grant was awarded an honorary Oscar for his unique mastery of the art of screen acting and his lifetime achievement in the film industry. As he accepted the award, Grant spoke humbly about his career, saying, "I've been fortunate enough to have had the opportunity to make a lot of pictures, and I'm grateful for that." His words were met with a standing ovation. As the audience rose to its feet to applaud a man who had given so much to the world of cinema, Cary Grant passed away on November 29, 1986, at the age of 82, due to complications from a stroke. His death was met with an outpouring of tributes from the film industry and fans around the world, as people came together to celebrate the life and legacy of a true Hollywood legend. Today, he is remembered as one of the most iconic and influential actors in Hollywood history, with a legacy that continues to inspire new generations of actors, directors, and filmmakers. Grant's impact on popular culture extends far beyond his films, however. He helped define the concept of cool and embodied a sense of sophistication and elegance that has been emulated by countless others. His style, wit, and charm continue to influence fashion, film, and music, as designers, directors, and musicians draw inspiration from his iconic look and charismatic persona. He was both a debonair leading man and a vulnerable, sensitive soul, a devoted father and a charismatic ladies' man. Through his films and his personal story, Grant has left behind a legacy that continues to captivate audiences and inspire new generations of artists. His journey from humble beginnings in Bristol, England, to the heights of Hollywood stardom is a true rags-to-riches tale, one that reminds us that success is not just about achieving fame or fortune, but about living a life of purpose, passion, and authenticity. By examining his struggles, triumphs, and passions, we gain insight into the human condition and are inspired to live our own lives with greater intention, creativity, and joy. In the end, Cary Grant's life serves as a powerful reminder that true greatness is not just about achieving success or fame, but about living a life that is authentic, meaningful, and true to oneself. That's all for today's biography with Plutarch. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that understanding the lives of remarkable individuals helps us better understand ourselves.